This is Dick Strout reporting from Hollywood. To the obvious delight of millions of teenage fans, the Monkees have made their first movie. And it may well be the wildest movie ever to come out of Hollywood. For example, Columbia Pictures publicity chief, faced with describing the storyline for production preview notes, was forced to condense the story into one sentence. Well, he wrote, it's not a remake of Magnificent Obsession. If you're confused, wait until you hear the title. The Monkees call it Head. We went to two of the fabulous Monkees co-stars to find out first what the story is about, and second, what kind of madness prevailed working with the Monkees. Annette Funicello plays her first mod farce role as the girl who begs talented violinist Davy Jones not to go into the prize fight game. The part is a takeoff on movies of the 30s and features a wild assortment of guest stars, including Sonny Liston.
Well, first you see us as a little boy and girl, and he's just learning to play the violin. And then it's kind of a flashback after he's gone on fighting, and I'm crying and pleading with him, please don't fight, you'll hurt your hands. And, you know, it really is a takeoff on the old picture. I saw them start to film it, and I can remember Davy walking up to Sonny Liston, and he said, please, just don't hurt me. He said, even your handshake is going to hurt me. He said, please, just take it easy. Remember, this is only joking. And, of course, Sonny was just huge, and Davy Jones is so tiny. And it really was very funny.
Besides the ex-heavyweight boxing champion, the Monkees' first film will feature all-pro football star Ray Nitschke of the Green Bay Packers. Victor Mature playing the part of Victor Mature, and the subject of two Esquire magazine articles, Tough Man Timothy Carey. We found Carey in his ranch home and asked about the title and the script.
Well, I believe they had an original title. The original one was Changes, and had to change that because someone else had that title. And you really can't describe the picture. I read the script, and actually it's the most bizarre film, a story I ever read before. Each page is another movie. It's quite unique. I've never really been involved. I've worked in films before, but never quite as unique as this one. It's a very hard film to describe. You know, people say, well, go ahead and see the film. You'll find out this is usually a promotional stunt or something. But in this picture, I played about 4 different characters, and I didn't know what I was doing most of the time.
Mickey Dolenz, Davy Jones, Mike Nesmith, and Peter Tork are the Monkees. And while their own identities have to some extent been submerged beneath the overall fame of the Monkees group, the new Columbia Pictures feature will serve to bring their individuality as well as their group image to the large screen. The fantastic story of 4 unknown young men brought together by producers Bert Schneider and Robert Raffleson seems incongruous in light of the rapport that exists between them. A rapport that augurs well for mischievous fun.
These Monkees, you know, to be honest, they're not the most disciplined actors. I remember Davy, one of the actors, he had to get a haircut right in the middle of the scene. And 3 of the other actors, they had to walk someplace on top of the roof to get inspired. They lost the feel of it, and they just walked off, and they came back about an hour later, much to the dismay of the assistant director, who couldn't quite grasp. They had to replace 4 assistant directors. They broke down. They just couldn't take it any longer because of the Monkees' antics and carrying on. I mean, it was just impossible sometimes. But of course, this is the Monkees, and this is what makes their talent so unique and so great. It was strictly a picture for the Monkees. I'm sure their fans all over the world will really love this show, you know, because it's so outstanding. It makes Tiny Tim look like a Sunday school teacher.
I had met Mickey years and years ago when he was doing Circus Boy, but the others I had never met before, and I just flipped over them. The first day I was on the set, they were so friendly, and they really made me feel welcome, and I had a ball working with them.
Lovely Annette Funicello, grown into a beautiful young woman since her days under contract to Walt Disney, makes her first motion picture for Columbia with her part in Head. Now a housewife and mother, she makes all Mouseketeer fans feel very, very old.
I married my agent, Jack Gilardi, and we dated for about a year before we got married. And we have a darling little 2.5-year-old daughter. Her name is Gina Laree, and she's very, very sweet.
Annette makes a strict point of being a good mother and must be very selective in choosing roles.
Jack has brought home quite a few scripts, and it seems like everything calls for location or nude scenes. And of course, I won't do either of these. I just don't want to be away from home. I love being a mother and a housewife, and I just want to work occasionally if it doesn't take me out of town.
Head was to be shot in Southern California, and so Annette agreed to take the part. As the movie progressed with its multiplicity of plots and happenings, it was essential that the shooting crews remain in close touch with the studios.
They shot the picture, and then they had to stop shooting it for a certain period of time because they had to get all the film together. The editor couldn't keep up with them. All of a sudden, you see the Monkees out in the plane, and they're being carried in a box, and the plane is carrying them underneath this box. And all of a sudden, one of the Monkees starts playing a violin, very sweet, melodious music. And then as a murder takes place, and they're running in and out. You see, there's one scene especially that's fantastic. They're doing a scene. They're inside a studio. And in the middle of the scene, they're being attacked by Indians. The Monkees are acting the scene out in the movie. They have a director there and so forth. And the arrows are going in one of the Monkees, Mike Nesbitt, and he says, "Oh, hold it." He said, "This is finished. I'm tired of this studio work, acting and everything. I want to go back to reality. I don't want to bother me." He starts taking the arrows out, and he walks off, and he walks right through the set. They have a mural there, you know, like, and he walks right through, and everybody, the extras are all sitting there, and all the Indians get up because they've been shot, you know, and so it's a beautiful made film. If you can follow it, I'm sure if you're a Monkees fan, then you know it's right up your alley.
Timothy Carey has been what Hollywood calls a heavy for years and has a reputation unmatched in American cinema.
Most of my roles, I've tried to make them diversified. In trying to make them diversified, I didn't get along with certain directors. Unfortunately, I hold the all-time record. I'm not proud of it, but it's a fact. I was asked to leave the set 5 times in a row. I guess I didn't read that book, How to Make Friends and Influence People. But it was a lot of fun. I'm the scourge of Hollywood. When I remember an agent said to me, and it's the truth, when he mentioned my name to some casting director just fell across the director's lap and fainted. He was so shocked by the fact I mentioned Timothy Carey, you know. But I've been getting along with people now. I've been, you know, just sitting in my dressing room, get ready for the scene. And as I told one of the assistant directors on my last picture, he gave me a very small dressing room. And I said, "You don't know my kiss history as an actor, do you?" And then right away, I got a better dressing room. These two fellows wrote an article about me, David Newman and Robert Benton. These are the fellows who wrote the exciting picture, Bonnie and Clyde. And much to my surprise, my brother called me up from New York back in 1965 and said, "Tim, you're in Esquire." I said, "You're kidding." I said, "Who do they want me in Esquire for?" Anyway, they had a picture of John Wayne and a picture of myself, and the caption above it was, "The old sentimentality versus the new sentimentality." Under John Wayne's picture had old sentimentality, under mine had new sentimentality, and they said, it happens that an actor, and they said a bit actor too, which I didn't like. They said that Tim Carey is our new underground celebrity. They said I was dirty. Now, they said I was uncouth.
One wonders what is up the Monkees' sleeve in Head when they have cast the scourge of Hollywood and the girl who 13 years ago received letters saying, "Dear little girl, second from the left in the back row, I love you." We asked Annette what it was like to be a Mouseketeer for Walt Disney.
Well, from the first day that I started working at the studio, of course I was scared to death. It was my first professional job. And he was really like a second father to me. I loved him. I just had so much admiration for the man, and he was always so wonderful to us. You could tell that he just loved kids, and he'd do anything in the world for them. And as I say, he was actually a second father to me.
We asked Timothy Carey, in summary, what one thing was the best recommendation for Head. Carey said it was simply the unrehearsed comic genius of the Monkees, which even went on behind the scenes.
I remember the day when we were over there, they were lighting, one of them saw the sprinklers up on the ceiling, you know, in the studios have these sprinklers. and the one that up and lit a match, and we all got a shower that day. All the water came down. The Monkees would hide the film, and we'd have to stop production.
Some of the scenes are just that wild and seemingly undisciplined. But behind the facade of free license, there is actually intense discipline, both in the performances and the direction. The picture is, in short, a movie, the likes of which has not been seen on the big screen before. Head, starring the Monkees, Annette Funicello, Timothy Carey, Victor Mature, Sonny Liston, and Ray Nitsky. As for the story, well, it's not a remake of Magnificent Obsession. This has been Dick Strout reporting from Hollywood.